Going live. Updating settings for Twitch. Starting video transmission. Tweet has been posted. Video is also recording, which does mean we are live.
It looks like we're live on YouTube.
Making sure the tweet went out. Sorry. Don't make me.
To pull this up on my phone.
Alright.
There we are.
I think we're good to go.
Up and ready.
We also got a follow from H0SS00312. Thank you very much. Totally not a bot. No.
That was fast.
You could be a person. It was.
I hope you're a person. If you're a person, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
If you're not,
greatly appreciate it. I appreciate you.
If you're not a person, I appreciate you until you start spamming us.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna keep a close eye on the chat. Better not do anything suspicious.
Anyway, so yeah, let's talk 5A. So the 5A.
Hey, sorry.
You know, I had a destination in mind when starting this. I didn't think about how to start this because this is a very, very difficult thing to start.
Oh. You could start it the same way Google apparently started with the Pixel 4a 5G. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you know what? Let's start this like I always do and start with the specs. So this phone has a 6.34 inch 1080p OLED display that's only 60 hertz. I mean, okay, so it's also going to cost $450, I believe, with a Snapdragon 865G processor? $765G, my bad. With 6 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. Okay.
Pretty good stuff. Yeah.
So, let's talk Pixel 5a or Pixel 4a 5G remake. Really, this phone did not change much at all from the 4a 5G. It seems like the same phone on paper.
Yeah.
It has a slightly bigger screen.
Yeah. On the plus side, it's more. I from what I recall, it's more water resistant.
All right, I forgot about that. It now has an IP rating, but I forget. Was the 4A one of those weird phones that promised water resistance without actually getting the certification? I know that some budget phones did that. I don't particularly remember if they were one of them that did that. Alright, and I remember another bummer about this. So, the 5G and the 5A supports millimeter wave technology. Except it doesn't support C-band. Do you know what the difference between the two are, Jerry?
I am admittedly not too familiar.
So millimeter wave is if you took a look at really early 5G videos on YouTube, that is really what millimeter wave was pinned as the future as of 5G. A lot of Marquez's videos about 5G is about millimeter wave. So I believe that both AT&T and Verizon in the United States have millimeter wave. T-Mobile runs on C-band only. So, millimeter wave it's super fast. That's your promises of a gigabit per second, connectivity comes in. However, it's like Wi-Fi.
Oh.
It's really like Wi-Fi. Each tower, quote unquote tower, has about a range of maybe like two blocks.
I see.
Um, okay, it's maybe I would. Okay, Wi-Fi doesn't go for 2 blocks. My bad. It's larger than Wi-Fi, but you get what I'm trying to say there.
No, yeah. It's
It's not
exactly
like
what you get if you put a more powerful router on top of an antenna.
it's not like what you think of as like a cell phone antenna. Like you put one cell phone antenna up and it covers like half a city,
No, yeah.
or at least
Virtual.
a city in Hawaii.
No, yeah.
I mean, if you're talking about LA, then well, it takes a few more than just one.
No, yeah. But yeah. It's LA though. Yeah. We're
So,
very compact in our urban environments.
so normally when you think of a cell phone antenna, um, you think like miles, not meters of
No, yeah.
coverage. So, yeah, that's one of the problems. Another thing is that you lose that signal very quickly by a very common substance. It cannot penetrate concrete.
That sounds like kind of a problem.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I work in a concrete building. Um,
Pretty sure some part of my walls are concrete.
wood is not an exception. I mean, I believe it can penetrate wood, except it doesn't penetrate it well.
Uh,
So
it
this
is
is
gonna get
definitely,
stopped by a
yeah,
wall.
this is definitely one of those types of technologies that you want line of sight, meaning you want to be able to see the cell phone tower when you're using it.
Yeah. I need to be very well aware of the cell tower's existence. So my phone itself will also be very well aware of the tower's existence.
So yeah, so C-band is that nice middle ground. It's faster than 4G LTE. It's not quite as it's not. Well, let's be honest here. It's not even close to as fast as millimeter wave, but it has that traditional range. It can go for miles rather than, you know, worrying about can I see my cell phone tower.
I just always need to be outside in order to use the my 5G. Right.
I mean, arguably, even C band isn't really that big of a deal breaker because in its current form, it's not that much faster than 4G. However, as we start rolling out full 5G rather and phasing out 4G, that should improve. Because from what I've heard, the biggest reason why T-Mobile is getting in a lot of trouble right now from the FCC is because they want to shut down some of their networks.
Uh,
And apparently, that's in direct violation with their deal with Dish.
oh, interesting.
Remember that agreement that they needed to say that they would do
I
if
thought you were
they
about to say,
merge?
remember Dish? Yeah. Uh, yeah, sorry. But,
Yeah, during the merger, you know how they sold off a lot of stuff to Dish, Boost Mobile, other stuff, and they needed to sign an agreement saying that they will service Boost and Boost, former customers, Dish's customers, for I forget how many years.
okay. So I'm guessing
However,
it
they won't.
hasn't quite met that
Yeah,
yet.
So they want to shut down Sprint's old CDMA networks. So you might be thinking, CDMA, isn't that 3G? Yes. Yes, it is. And guess what? A lot of Boost customers still use CDMA. It doesn't affect T-Mobile because none of their T-Mobile never used CDMA, and pretty much all the Sprint's customers are off of CDMA anyway onto LTE. Of course, well, that kind of puts Dish at a very awkward position. I mean, wouldn't it be very awkward if suddenly you're a budget phone provider and being like, well, guys, sorry, but you guys all need to get new phones.
that would
That would be a bit.
that
That would
would
be a bit
suck,
awkward.
especially as a budget network.
Yeah.
It's not quite. It's kind of a hard pill to swallow. Very hard pill to swallow.
So they're currently at an impasse with T-Mobile needing to shut that down in order to free up the band for some of their 5G stuff. And you need Boost, to actually have that to support their customers.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, the FCC is kind of like calling a foul on this one and being like, didn't you guys say this?
Excuse you. This is an agreement. You can't just go back on it because you want to make your 5G better.
And another thing about it is that T-Mobile specifically said that keeping this stuff online will not impact the rollout of 5G.
Uh,
That was something that was specifically said during, their merger process.
yeah. No,
Oh
surprise,
man.
surprise.
Ever since, what was his name? John the Gear? Something like that?
I think so.
Ever since he left, T-Mobile has become like the scum of the earth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right? They're like falling back to like a AT&T or Verizon. They're no longer that like uncarrier. Let's make sure our customers are first. That type of carrier.
Yeah.
They've
We
kind
just
of ran right back to like the traditional model. Like, so what's the best way to make money here?
yeah. Sooner or later, they get big enough. All it all becomes is just another carrier focusing on profits.
Come on, you have to admit he was actually a pretty good CEO. I mean, there's not many CEOs that would literally go out, do cooking shows, go to launch events, get
No,
in with the crowd.
no, yeah, that's true. Be there with the people, you know.
And not only as like the face, like we're going out for this big event. I'm gonna just like talk in the keynote, like like how Tim Cook or like Samsung CEO does, but actually do like dumb stuff that he knows that fans would love, but might not, reflect the best on his own personal image.
Yeah. It's wild in the best way possible.
I really liked him as a CEO. He really changed up how like a lot of people perceive the mobile carrier. Like he genuinely made it fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and like all those redesigns, I swear happened in those T-Mobile stores during his like reign. Remember when they like started putting up like those magenta LEDs and everything?
Oh, the times where you can definitely tell you're by a T-Mobile store at night when it's just glowing pink or whatever. Yeah,
Well,
that was
you have
wild.
to admit, it looked good. It was a good image. T-Mobile had a very good image going on when he was trying to push it forward.
Yeah, man, they own that magenta. They own that pink. They rode with it. You can't help but respect that.
And then they did the huge uncarrier push. I believe that that was like one of the biggest things.
No, yeah.
Like, like they knew that they weren't as big as like Verizon and AT&T, so they stuck to it. They advertised. They made sure that okay, we want what's best for the customer, and we will give it to you for the
Hmm.
cheapest price.
No, yeah.
Well, my price is still
That's
cheap.
good.
I
No,
I've been grandfathered in for a very long time.
no, yeah. The
So
perks of grandfathering in. You
I've
got to
been
jump in during the good rain.
actually I jumped in before the good rain.
Oh,
I think I jumped in like 6 years ago, maybe. I think that was like 5 or 6 years ago. And I've been grandfathered in for so long that it's one of those things of how things just continuously got expensive, but nothing really got as cheap as it was before.
no, yeah.
So yes, during the uncarrier days, it was significantly cheaper than anything that the other guys were doing. It was just not as cheap as it used to be.
No, yeah. Back in the good old day. No, no.
Wow.
Yeah, that's good. You had your plan and it stuck through.
You know what? How old is the S8?
That's a good question. I think 2018, 17, 18, 17, 17.
Yeah,
I don't
the
know.
S8 was my first phone on T-Mobile, and it just came out.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, five
Okay.
years ago. Looks like
2017.
looks like it was 5 years ago. Yeah, I've been grandfathered in for 5 years.
That's crazy. It's been 4. It's been, I think it's 4. Wow. Anyway. Actually, no, sorry.
Yeah,
Mine is specifically 3, if I recall. 3 going on 4, because I got this right before S9. And the only thing I majorly regret about that is the fact that the app or the way to like share your screen onto a Windows computer is only supported all the way back to the S9. So I don't get the what was it your phone on Windows experience.
yeah.
Anyway,
So yeah, okay. So let's talk about what do you think? Well, enough about T-Mobile. But what do you think are like the pros of this phone? Like, what do you think is good about this phone, Jared? Why would you buy it?
why would I buy the Galaxy S? Why would I buy the Google Pixel 5a? Hmm. Well. Hmm. Not sure why I'd pick the Pixel line in general, other than I hear their cameras are pretty good, but I'm not sure if Pixel 4a 5G had a pretty good camera, or was it okay-ish? Did they keep
No,
it well in the
I
that
mean they
respect?
didn't do that. Wait, repeat that one more time. My bad.
I don't know. Sorry, I'm trying to think of like why I would get a Pixel in general before I get into why I would get like this 5A in particular. And the only reason is because I know a Pixel usually has a really good reputation when it comes to camera, and I'm really big on
And
using these things as cameras. So I'm
it's not.
wondering if.
I mean, for the price bracket, it's a good camera,
Oh, okay.
from what I've heard.
Oh, okay. So it's still willing to admit it's good. It's just you got to factor in the fact that it's good in this for mid 400s range to
You're
500s
not
range.
you're not gonna get like S21 quality out of this. That's for
Oh
sure.
yeah, no. I mean, if that was the case, then I would drop everything for. Sorry, I'm really big on cameras. Can you anyway? I say as I stare at the audience through a nice little Logitech webcam with its. It doesn't really. Oh, there it is with the with the pixels. Hey, anyway. Let's see. Um, yeah, I'd probably say for the most part. I mean, it's got a it's got a good budget price to it. It's got decent enough specs, and yeah, arguably, if all I really needed was a smartphone to just kind of get me through the day, kind of thing, just something that I just need to carry on with me. Look up emails, maybe play a game of solitaire or two. Uh, yeah, maybe like take a couple pictures for the gram just for the heck of it. Uh, yeah, I would say I'd say it's what was there? Where was I going with that? Sorry, I'm blanking out. Um, I guess uh, it's a good budget price. I guess no nonsense phone that'll get me through the next couple of years or so. So I guess I can't argue with that.
Okay, so I do have an argument for that one though. You're talking about $450 here. You can do better for $450. You can do significantly better for $500.
Oh yeah.
So what? So the real thing is, the real question I have is like, why would you? Okay, if you want to stay on Android, why not pay the $500 and get one of the Samsung A series phones? It has 120 hertz displays. It has 4 years of security updates, rather than the 3 years that Google Pixel 5a promises.
Oh, yeah.
And arguably, I, it can be the better phone.
Hmm.
And then you have like even lower priced phones. Like at this price, what's the huge issue with going with a 4A? I mean, it's significantly cheaper. You don't get 5G, but honestly, the 5G is pretty useless on this phone. You
Oh,
don't
yeah.
get as great of a processor, but it's if you're really trying to go for that low price, I don't have that much money, so I'm going to get
Hmm.
something cheap type of thought process. I mean, $100 makes a difference. That's
Yeah.
so. Yeah. You have anything to say about that one?
Hmm. Yeah, no, it's Pixel 5a is a tough sell. I'd still say that's probably what people are going to throw out if they were to still purchase the 5a. And arguably, I mean, I guess if anything, it's is a little bit weird. It does feel like it kind of hits that middle of the road where if you're really looking for a niche thing, or like I need a slightly better processor than the 4A, but I don't want to spend so much. I don't want to spend 50 extra dollars. You know what I mean? Like I don't want. Like I'm willing to spend 100 more for some reason. I don't want to spend 150 more. I
Yeah. And the
guess
weird thing
it's
is
a.
that's only going to be sold in the US and Japan.
Uh,
Apparently, it's not even being sold through the major carriers in the US. And
it's just being sold
Japan
off of.
is riddled with iPhones.
That is true. Japan is going to be a very difficult market to get through.
So if you're selling in two markets, one market that is incredibly carrier driven and not sold to the carriers, the other that has almost no market at all for what's it called again? The heck is that noise? What am I? Oh, well, that was weird.
And we're
That was
back.
incredibly weird.
Actually, we're
I
technically not back.
was,
Well, the call is back. The
I
stream's gone.
was. Your stream is gone. Mine isn't.
Uh, my network must have crashed for a
It was
moment.
funny. I was like, I was talking, and I heard something. I'm like, what? What the heck is that sound? I don't know what
Uh,
the sound is. I've never heard this sound before.
uh, turns out the call died. Turns out my network died for like a second. I blame
Okay,
Meva on
so
that one.
what was the last thing that you heard me say?
Let's see. We were talking about. Oh, we just talked about it's not being held into carriers and it's going to the U.S. and Japan, with Japan
Yeah,
being a major iPhone country,
yeah.
iPhone focused country.
And the U.S. is really like the only way you sell a phone in the U.S. I know this might sound strange to international viewers, but we buy it through the carriers. We go into our Verizon store, our T-Mobile store, our AT&T stores. We look at the phones. We stare at the iPhone display. We stare at the Samsung display, and then we buy it on a payment plan.
No, yeah, they won't let us do it. I don't think they let us do it any other way, do they? When you go through carrier, do they?
Actually, they do that. You buy it straight up. They do that. It's an option, but you need to tell them you want that option.
Oh, they're not gonna present it to you, but it's there if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Sorry. Technically, I think the last time I've purchased was we went to the Apple store for that one. But I think
Okay. Well.
that's probably the only exception. I think that's the only exception when it comes to
Yeah.
phone
iPhones have been
purchases.
a kind of a mixed bag. Well, I mean, I guess that makes sense because normally you would actually go to a manufacturer. Actually, now that I think about it, when we just like going out to buy phones.
Yeah. We like
I
the
think
option
that's
to just
I I
go and
think
like,
that's what it is.
yeah, it's just we're very limited as to where we can actually go. We have the
Because
carriers, we have the Apple stores. I think Best Buy,
yeah,
maybe Costco. I don't remember.
but yeah, I know that a lot of other countries they actually just buy it online, use spec sheets,
Hmm.
reviews, and just
Go
online
for it.
purchase
Go
it.
for the purchase. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the other weird thing. I mean, who is this for? I mean,
It's a good
you're
question.
making it difficult to even buy it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no real solid justifiable answer to get a Pixel 5a. Please don't cancel my stream for me saying that. Right, no, I don't know how much Google has. Never mind. I don't want to know how much Google has influence over it. Anyway,
I
but yeah,
guarantee
there's
that
no
they don't
real.
at this point they don't care.
Yeah, they
I mean, how
care
little
about as
effort they put
much.
into this.
It's almost kind of like yeah, it's like it just kind of felt mandatory. Like it's an obligation to just make the next step up in the A line, I guess.
Now that I
And
think
you're like,
about it, I
yeah.
think that the biggest thing is that they remember how many times this thing got delayed. Wasn't this originally rumor like early this year?
I think so.
Pretty sure that normally the A line would come out early. Let me look up for a release date. Pixel 4a release date was Pixel 4 and 4a were officially announced in August 3rd. The 4a. What the heck? I am so confused. Pixel 4a. Okay, it was an August release. Yep. 4A was an August release.
Yeah.
But this time it's announced in. Oh, I mean, I guess it's about the same time frame. Never mind. Yeah. I guess I'll be quiet now. Oh, it
Yeah.
was
Maybe it
supposed to
just
be
so
announced a
happens that.
long time ago. I think that's what it was. Something like that. I know that this phone was really hyped a long time ago, and then we heard nothing about it. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I feel like we heard. Yeah, I keep hearing a lot about the rumored A, but it's not until now like, oh yeah, it's right. Pixel 5a. Ta-da.
Oh, I think it was the fact that the 4A got announced with the 4,
I see. I
except the
see.
5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
5 just came by itself, and then now we have 5a out of the blue, which oddly enough is what we're now hearing about after the rumors of 6. Was it? Did we
I
hear
have
anything
no
official about?
idea
We
anymore.
heard. Was it?
Oh yeah, the 6 is the one with the in-house SoC.
No, yeah.
Oh,
They picked a weird
Tensor.
time to drop this one. No,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is
Yeah,
incredible.
so
Well, I mean, they kind of promised the 5A was coming.
yeah.
I
It almost feels
think
like a
they were like, oh shoot, we promised this. We're gonna get
we just need to
slayed.
release a 5.
We're gonna get slayed for not releasing this.
This is the definition of an obligation at this point. It just needed to exist. I don't know if they care if it profits well. It's just there. You have it now.
Okay, so you must be wondering why I asked you to, what's it called again? Before the stream, not monitor the stream with the phone that you
Oh,
normally monitor.
with my Galaxy SA Plus, I have been requested to keep this thing gently on the sidelines. I do have battery on it. Okay, perfect. So I guess the time is
You know,
now.
if you were planning on trying to use that thing to monitor the stream without any battery, you have other problems. Just
Oh
just
yeah,
throwing that
there's
out.
there's there's a lot of other issues there.
Okay,
I won't deny
so
that.
let's talk about the value of the 5A. I mentioned Android phones, but what about the iPhone?
Yeah,
So, the biggest
ignorant.
problem I have with the 5A is the fact that the iPhone SE exists.
Yeah.
Um, is there a reason why you think people should purchase the 5A over a SE? And
So this is barring the fact that they've assumed this is their best Android option for them.
yes,
Then I have to go through why they prefer the Pixel, or why. Okay, so for by some miracle we've decided the Pixel 5a is my best Android option, and
I
now I
mean
have to
we're
pay
technically
extra.
literally comparing apples to apples on this one. One from Google, one from Apple.
Apple.
You know what I'm trying to say on that one, though. It's this is what the companies that make the OS believe that a budget phone's supposed to look like.
Yeah. Straight from the manufacturers and the OS developers themselves. I can call Google OS developers, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I feel like this is the truest form of Android budget, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. This is Android budget in its purest form. None of this Samsung reskinned business. Or what was the other one we thought? Oh, but the other one was another Pixel, so we can throw that. But
I mean, at least these phones don't get advertisements that, you know, I got a push notification about buying the Z Fold. Okay, that I paid. Well, I originally paid I think like $800 for this phone, and I'm getting push notifications from Samsung about buying the next phone.
yeah. It's like, you see this $800 phone you just purchased? It's a scrub phone. You should invest in a phone that can fold out into a tablet, into a mini tablet.
Okay, but yeah, back on topic. So assuming that these are the options. Is there any reason why you would go with a 5A?
Mm, sorry, and eyelash in my mouth. That's gross. Uh, let's see. Sorry, I'm currently looking up the iPhone SE while we're here. Just want to refresh myself on the specs. Also, pricing while we're here. Which, side note, the base model
400.
is $50 cheaper. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm now aware. Let's see what's in the.
However, if you want the
Uh,
true apples to apple comparison, it would be the 451 because it's 128 gigs.
yeah.
So it's really about how
Oh
much
yeah.
you care about your storage. But the cheaper option is there. So I will applaud Apple on that one.
Oh, yeah. It does still exist. So I
Are you
can't argue with
applauding
that.
Apple on price? Oh, oh,
I
that's a
know,
weird
right? What
one.
kind of world do we live in?
I know that not everyone needs 128 gigs of storage. Currently, I use about 20 gigabytes out of my 128 gigabyte S21. So
I'll double check to see how much storage I'm taking.
I know very well that I could live with 64. Oh, remember
Oh,
when we
yeah.
used to live with 16 gigabytes?
What a world. Tech specs. There we are. Hmm. Touch ID alone will get me back into the SE. I've never actually fully experienced Touch ID. Never had a proper Touch ID experience. Sorry, no, that's the
Don't
counter
you have
argument
a
to what we're
don't
trying
you
to
have
go
a
for. But
4A? Not 4A. Don't you have an iPad Air? Doesn't that have a? Is that Face
it
ID or is that
does.
Touch ID?
It has Touch ID on the power button, so I mean
Okay.
technically I still have it. It's just not the
Isn't it pretty
same.
reliable? Isn't
It's
it
good.
surprisingly reliable?
Oh, I think it's all
Yeah.
right. The only time I usually need to power it up from, actually, usually I wake it up from deep sleep anyway, so a lot of times I need to put in the pin. So, but when I can use the Touch ID, it's actually really nice. I haven't had
Mm.
any errors out of it yet,
Yeah,
so
so I
that's
don't know why,
that's
but the I mean not touch sensors, the fingerprint sensors are pretty accurate on iPhones, and I don't know why anyone else hasn't followed suit.
yeah. I thought we have come to an agreement. They'll only follow the bad. They'll only follow the bad trends from Apple. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Two. Okay. Cameras are both 12 megapixels. Uh, hmm it's 4.7 LCD multi-touch with IPS
Yeah, it's a pretty tiny
technology.
screen. I'll give you that one. It's a tiny screen.
Yeah, that's about all I've got so far.
I
The screen
wouldn't.
size, and I'm not sure where to fully compare. My only other thing is battery size, which apparently is something that the 5A can tout as
Don't
carrying a.
forget. Don't forget this. The iPhone. What was yours? An iPhone 11.
Yes.
The iPhone 11 has a has a Pro Max. Where the heck is just the 11? 3,100 milliamp hour battery.
Yeah.
3,100, yeah. So Apple
Sure.
can do magic with battery. I'm not saying the SC has great battery life. I'm just saying it doesn't. It doesn't. That's one
Yeah.
of its problems. So don't take me as saying that. But
But it's
it
not a
does.
true.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, size really doesn't necessarily matter on this one.
In this particular instance, it as as you've mentioned, it doesn't mean the SA is great at its battery life. It just doesn't necessarily mean that if its battery is a lot smaller, that it's gonna be that's not the reason why it's worse.
Yeah. So I mean, as you know, I daily drive a S21. It is not significant. It does not last too much longer, or than my iPhone 10s did. And I know
Oh.
that that had a tiny battery compared to this one.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure that this one lasts longer. I mean, the S21 lasts longer than the iPhone 10s. Except,
Yeah.
I've learned that's not a one-to-one comparison. You can't compare milliamp hour to milliamp hour.
Yeah. It's more on just how much you can actually generally get from your milliamp hours. And that we kind of can't really answer until we have like a hands-on thing with it.
Yeah.
Or someone else has a high hands-on thing with it and decides to test that fact.
And other things are is like, of course the pixel density is significantly lower on the iPhone, but I've yet to see a Retina display look bad.
That's true.
It's
They
not
do really well
OLED.
with less. Anyway.
This is not OLED, but it is a P3 display.
Oh, the SE?
Oh
Or
yeah,
the...
the SE is not OLED, but it's a P3 display. So what I've learned about Apple's LCD panels is, first of all, they are the best LCD panels on the market. You can fight me on that one. I'm not arguing that they're the best panels. They're the best LCD panels.
Yeah.
I've also noticed that because of the software running on the iPhones, somehow they're able to always provide the truest colors. Like if any of you are like photo editors or video editors, you guys know that if you get a P3 display, it's sometimes odd juggling your color spaces between like sRGB, P3, Adobe RGB. But I've noticed that just the iPhone can figure out like, okay, this guy wants to look at that photo, so I should give them the truest color possible and give them an sRGB version of that photo. Well, in other
Yeah.
applications, I could tell like, oh, that's a lot more colorful than this probably should be, and I could kind of tell that's running P3.
Yeah.
Android just runs P3 like all the time.
Yeah. That's just how it is.
I mean, that does give you like that beautiful image. Like the OLEDs on Android. Oh my gosh. It's really nice. It's pleasing to the eyes.
Yes.
But they're not necessarily the most accurate.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
good for consumption, not much for editing.
yeah. And honestly though, I prefer to know like what if I take a photo, I want to know what's going to look like on someone else's phone before I send it,
That's true.
honestly.
That's
Because if it
always really
looks
nice.
amazing on my phone, but it looks terrible when I save it to like OneDrive and look it on my computer, I'd rather want to know what it's gonna look at like on anything else. You know what I mean by that?
No, yeah.
Like, you, photos are. I believe photos always need to be shown in the truest sense possible. At the
No,
very
yeah.
least, the photos like in your gallery,
No, yeah.
and definitely in your camera app.
No, yeah. Get the truest sense out of those at the very least, since that's most likely the stuff that's gonna be shared on every screen under the sun.
Like put it on Instagram. You don't know if they're running an iPhone. You don't know if you're running an S21. You don't know if they're running like some random flip phone that somehow is running Instagram on it.
Props to them for figuring out how to get that going.
I'm sure that there's someone out there that has somehow hacked a flip phone to run like some weird version of Android or something like that.
Yeah. And just in case we need clarification, we mean the OG dial, like one screen dial hardcore buttons on the bottom flip phone.
But
Not
on
all
screen, what
y'all's
are you
fancy.
talking about? What are you talking about? There was usually like a small little thing on the outside that showed the time.
Yeah, you're right. 1.5 screens. We had 1.5 screen phones with hardcore buttons that people could memorize how to like dial the letters in, so you can keep staring at like your chalkboard or whiteboard or whatever while like typing away at the bottom.
Oh
I get
yeah.
people props for that. That's impressive.
So we had always on displays well before Samsung made it cool.
Yeah. They weren't great displays, but they were always on. And that battery life lasted forever.
It really did. I'm also pretty
It
sure
probably
that
takes
those phones caught
so
fire a lot, but I could be wrong about that. I wouldn't be surprised.
it's very well possible. But I mean,
Because they were
hey.
cheap plastic batteries with low tech batteries. So
Yeah.
plastic bodies, meaning that, they could easily get damaged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
beyond that,
apparently we didn't have
just
to stay up to safety codes like we do today.
yeah. Who implemented
Safety.
all of this safety?
Safety.
Get the adrenaline rush of never really knowing when my phone's just gonna explode on my anyway. But
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So tell me, okay, maybe the screen is something. Ah, Jared, Jared. I see that you've disappeared again. Into the void. Into the void. Please come back soon.
I
And he's
sound
back.
quality is bad. Check your internet connection. Once again, I blame Eva.
Okay. So,
I know for sure it's on my
yeah.
end because I'm waiting for the stream to connect. If you wanna cruise for a
Oh,
moment.
okay. So the weather's nice. No, it's not actually.
I guess.
It's been raining.
Yeah, it was raining kind of hard very recently. Is that why my thing keeps dying? No. We actually have clouds in Evo now, and it's like messing up my somehow messing up my connection.
I don't know. Stream back
Hey,
up
we're
for
live
you?
again. Part
Okay,
3, let's go. The recording's
so
still going though. So
so other than the screen, is there any
uh,
other reason why you believe that someone would choose the 5A? So we've come
after
to the
looking
conclusion
through
that the screen is
after,
something.
yeah, after looking through the specs, the screen is definitely an option. Considering it's a bigger screen. Um, well, we've gone on a dead end with battery life. There's no real point in. We've gone through the discussion of why that's a very apples to, or very um, gray water area. The only
Yeah.
other thing that I respect about the Pixel 5a that's becoming more of a niche thing to find on phones these days, the 5a still has a headphone jack.
I
Is it
forgot
a
about that one.
justification? It's, but
I guess it is. Um wow.
they've
That's
maintained the
that's
tried and true. They've
that's not what I was
kept
expecting.
maybe keeping the 4A language as the body design has merited something.
So
But yeah, that's all I got for
yeah.
you.
I have one killer feature of the SE. I believe that budget minded people would actually care about.
If you say the dongle, I swear I'm going to. No.
The fact that you need a dongle for everything.
The fact that
$50
you need
dongles, $80 dongles, $150 dongles. Just the full shebang. Right there.
all the dongles.
No, but for real, it's actually the longevity. So first of
That's
all, it has an A13 Bionic chip. Yes, it is one generation behind. But it is a flagship processor of one
right.
generation behind. I don't. If I recall the benchmarks, this processor inside of this in the Pixel 5a is about has the same power as about maybe two generations ago, with significantly less GPU power.
Oh yeah.
So the CPU is not bad, but the GPU has been dumbed down a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's been hit.
I don't know how long that's gonna hold up. So the other thing is the fact that iPhones have been okay. What version of Android is your S8 on right now?
I believe we're talking KitKat. No, we are at. I think they killed it at 9. I think 9, 9. I think.
That hurts
For
me.
some reason, I
I
can't
thought
find
they
it.
were gonna tell. I thought you were gonna tell me 10. I genuinely thought
Oh
you were
yeah.
gonna tell me 10, Jared.
Oh no. I know for sure. Okay, I did check it out. It was Android version 9, and the reason why I remembered it was Android version 9 is because, as I've hopefully I harped on it while my internet connection was still existing, but I cannot use the the screen sharing thing on Windows because that's only supported on Android 10 and above, hence S9 and above, and it irks me to this day.
Um,
I could have waited a week. Anyway,
that hurts
sorry.
me greatly.
It hurts me too.
Um,
And any
but
like
my phone,
gameplay on Pokemon Go. But
my iPhone 7, which came out the same year as your phone, is
yes.
running a software version 14.7.1. Let's let's
14.7.
let's look up what the most recent iPhone version. That's
Actually sounds fairly frequent, if not already the most
the
recent, yeah.
most. Yep, it's the most recent 14.7. I thought that there was going to be like a 14.7.2 or something like that.
Oh, no, it's full up to date. Still waiting on that
Because
15 to drop.
I know that Apple sometimes has like these tiny updates that's only for specific phones. Because it's a like a phone specific issue.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I've noticed that from time to time. So yeah,
They get
it's
they
still
get
running
this.
the latest version of iOS. It's
Yeah, yeah.
a many-year-old phone. I don't necessarily remember at the moment, and
Yeah,
I
at least
believe
4. Oh yeah, it has to be at least 4 because we just looked up the SE release date and that was 2017.
iPhone 7 release date. It released in 2016,
Oh, it's a 5-year-old phone.
September
It's
7th,
actually.
almost 5, almost
Oh yeah, that's right. It's half a year older
one
than the S8, I think.
in
Yeah.
about 2 weeks. It's gonna have its birthday.
Hey, we should have a TechNet special.
I mean, okay, for all intents and purposes, let's call this a 5-year-old phone. Is that fair?
Nah, yeah, it's roughly a 5-year-old phone.
No.
I can, I can, I can, I can, I can, I can. That's fine. Sorry.
So 5 years old. It has the latest iOS update. Your phone is like 2 versions behind. Same year.
Almost 3. It's
And
going on 3.
honestly, this has been a trend with Android. It's always lost support incredibly quickly.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Google's commitment to 3 years of software updates that places it in the same thing.
No, yeah. Excuse me.
Even if Apple cuts support at 5 years, that's still 2 years more than the Pixel would go for.
No, yeah.
And you could make the argument that, okay, Samsung's pushing for 4 years now. Kind of. They are. For security updates. I believe that's 2 years of... Was it 2 or 3? Well, either way, one of those 2 or 3 years of software updates, like OS versions, Android 10, Android 11, Android 12.
Yeah. Yeah. I know it used to be
And
2 years. I don't remember if they bumped it up to 3.
no, and 4 years of security updates, which is a good thing. And that's the biggest argument that I have for the Pixel 6, because Google has the opportunity of being able to do it.
Yeah.
Not sure that if they're going to do it or not, but they at least have the opportunity to, because Qualcomm is out of the picture, and they don't need driver support from Qualcomm.
Yeah, that's all in house.
But it's a hard bargain for being like, okay, you know what? Even for if you paid $300 for, let's say, a OnePlus Nord, why, at that point, why not pay the extra $100 for the peace of mind that you have a phone for 2 more years?
Yeah.
And not only that, it has a way better processor, meaning that's going to be faster and stay faster for longer. How? Okay. For standard stuff, let's say web browsing. Let's go with web browsing YouTube, going through Instagram, Twitter. How does your S8 feel?
For standard use, let's see. Honestly, admittedly, it's not. Well,
Okay.
how would I put it?
Is
It's.
it marketably different than your current phone?
I will admit, I do enjoy and well, I do. We're talking about the main like web surfing and YouTube
Yep.
and right where it's thinking. Okay.
Yes.
I would say for the most part, I do enjoy watching like YouTube videos a little bit more off of my iPhone. I feel like that I do definitely feel the quality difference. That being said, it doesn't. Well, if for one reason or another I need to let my iPhone like charge, or I just already happen to have my S8 in my hand for whatever reason, I I've never had like a complaint browsing through Instagram or like watching YouTube videos. And I think at that point, with the exception of well, the sound changes since speakers are different on the two. Yeah, for the most part, I think it ultimately boils down to how well I'm able to keep connected to internet, and just as long as my video doesn't look like it's coming straight from a potato. I mean, it's. I don't have any complaints there. I do feel once again I do feel slightly better through the iPhone 11, but I don't have any. I have no qualms browsing through my S8 from now and again.
Well, the argument that I was going to have is that the 7 is definitely still a very usable phone. If you gave me this phone, I know I've daily driven this phone for lengths of time while my good friend the S21 was in for repairs. Thank you, Samsung support. You have been a pain in my side for months.
It's been quite an experience from what I hear.
Oh yes, very much so. So I know how well this phone performs, and honestly, I liked it. Yes, it takes like a second more to open up for the first time open up like applications, but once they're open, honestly, they run the same.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It runs the same. I don't have audio sync issues. Which is not something I could say about my current phone. I don't have audio sync issues. When I tether it to my Chromecast, I also don't have audio issues in the Crunchyroll app. Although I think it's more to do with the Crunchyroll app than it has to do with the phone.
Hey, you can blame Sony and Funimation for that now.
Yeah. Okay. I know I've been ranting about the audio sync, but look, if you're gonna make Bluetooth, the only way you can interact with audio other than buying a $10 dongle, at least make sure that audio sync works. Please. It's important.
Yeah. Makes it a little more unbearable. It makes it a little bit more of a hard pill to swallow if that's the only pill that you can swallow.
Well, I could buy a $10 dongle, but a $10 dongle costs just as much as my favorite ear. It costs more than my favorite pair of earphones.
But hey, you can use your favorite pair of earphones again. Were they wired? Were they wired? They were wired, yeah.
Of course they're
No?
wired. How are you gonna get a wireless? How do you get the
I don't
parts
know.
for a Bluetooth headset for $10?
Okay. I will admit though, we could if you happen to find a $10 wireless Bluetooth headset that lived up to the hype that was the currently wired $10.
That would be
My
crazy.
goodness. That'd
That
be
would be genuinely
gold.
crazy.
Like what? Like you just have to like give up on all the technology at that point. You found the gold mine. You found the
Yeah.
mother of all cheap headsets. The
Yeah.
value is real.
And the other weird things I've noticed about these cheaper budget phones, I don't know anything about the 5A, so I can't say this for sure. But they usually cheap out in the construction somehow. Like they use cheap haptic motors. That bugs me.
Yeah.
Okay, the reason why it bugs me is because you know on Android how they always use haptics for the keyboard.
Yeah.
If it gives me that grinding sensation whenever I type something, it hurts me. It hurts me
Yeah.
greatly.
I could see that. I guess I could feel that. Yeah.
So there's things like that. Like they cheap out in things like that. Sometimes they cheap out in general construction, meaning that it'll break. Some points of it will break easier than others. I'm not gonna say that these are issues with a 5A, but that is what I've noticed about a lot of budget phones.
Yeah. There's a good possibility that it's a trait that's shared with uh considering it remains in that line. Allegedly.
But the SE changes that paradigm because yes, it uses an old design, but it's a tried and true old design. I don't think that there's a design out there that's more tried and true than the SE's design.
No, yeah. I won't deny that. Old but
I
gold.
know that this is a hot take, but after the iPhone 4, I believe that the design that the iPhone 6 had is the most iconic design after the iPhone 4 of the iPhone.
I could see that, yeah. It got to that extra round curveness to it. Like, it's like a seamless, flattened oval.
Yeah. I think
Smooth.
that that was the most iconic. I mean, of course, then you get the notch, and that's kind of iconic. That's pretty iconic. So I would say that iPhone 10 is probably right after that.
Oh,
But
yeah. It's a very different kind of iconic.
the fact that Apple used this design for almost 5 years already, no, 6 years. There was 6S, wasn't there? 7 years already.
Yes. It is a testament. They must have really loved this design.
I know.
I can't
I was
argue.
like, 5 years. No, 6 years. Wait a moment. There was a 6S.
6S years. Yes.
Yeah, he used it for the 6, the 6S, the 7, the 8, and the SE.
Yeah. I feel like they kept a little bit of that curviness to it through the 10 and 11, I think. And then 12 came around and it's like, bam, back to box.
Yeah,
Get that frame back.
yeah. I still really miss the iPhone 4. Okay, you know what? I know that Apple would never do this, but I want an iPhone Classic Edition.
Ooh, so maybe not.
I want.
Wait, didn't a CE exist? Not classic edition, but they had like something called a CE.
Oh, I don't think so.
Was that? Oh, or am I thinking like a 5C?
Yeah, you're thinking 5C,
Okay, so they could
the
make a
colorful one.
CE. Yeah, the colorful one.
So
See,
you know what I think would be the perfect CE? I think if they made an iPhone 12 mini with the silver, classic edge around it that kind of,
oh yeah.
protruded a bit.
Hmm.
Have like a modern looking front, but the back be that classic glass black with the
Oh
Apple logo
yeah.
silver.
Oh, that'd be nice. Shoot, that's a missed opportunity right there. I hope they bring out something like that. I would get that.
Kind of
Even
sacrifice,
custom.
skimp on the cameras a bit so that you could have that just one integrated inside, you know, camera. So probably just have
I
one main sensor.
really bring back the back look. No need just the aesthetic. Just give it that
I
old
mean,
feel
it's
again.
going to be a significantly bigger sensor than the original 4, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a significantly bigger phone than the original 4.
No, yeah.
Oh, and there's
But
one
it's
thing I
got
don't
that.
miss. Do not put in a 30-pin connector. Please, for the love of God. I know we're talking about classic, but
I hope you still have some of those lying down the box because we're bringing back the 30.
some things deserve to stay in the box. It was revolutionary for the time. I
Oh
would
yeah.
give them that one. I actually like the 30-pin connector. It felt much more secure than a micro USB. You know how micro USB
Right.
always had that wiggle?
Oh yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm
No, that
talking
30
about.
pin stuck. That thing was in.
Yeah. I like a 30 pin. Lightning was amazing when it came out. It
Yeah.
was the de facto connector. I don't care what you say about it. It was miles ahead of USB, micro USB.
It
Are
was
you going to
miles
deny
ahead
it?
of.
Are you going to deny that?
Oh no, I'm not gonna argue against that. I do find it funny the thought of like Lightning was so ahead of micro USB-C, it actually existed at that time. But yeah, it's I like it so much better than micro. I like anything better than micro.
Yeah.
Actually, don't call me on that. Anything's a very broad category.
You know, the funny thing is, I actually preferred the mini USBs to micro USB.
No, yeah,
You know which ones
kind of
those were,
double
right?
layer looking thing. No, yeah, the slightly fatter one. Yeah, it's like if a micro
The,
USB had like a growth at the bottom.
yeah, the one that like the PlayStation controllers use. It just felt so much more solid, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, the extra surface area, so you know for sure you got that connection going.
I like those ones.
No, yeah, I still see people request them in a USB cable every now and again. I've
Yeah.
never seen it for anything modern, but
Oh,
the
but
mini
those
USBs.
USB-B cables, those like printer ones,
Oh, the printer ones. Yeah.
those are the jam. Come on.
Yeah.
Remember the USB-C, I mean USB 3.0 version of those? The ones that have a fat top.
Oh, I think I remember that one.
But those ones were kind of hilarious, but yeah,
Yeah.
I did not like micro USB. Those things broke on me all the time. Okay,
No.
I know that lightning cables have a bad rap for fraying. At least it's a cable that's fraying,
It's
not
the
your
outer layer.
port becoming so used that it barely stays in.
No, yeah. I
You know
feel
what I'm
that.
talking about, Jared.
I feel that. Yeah. That's true. The cable, the connector itself for Lightning has never gotten a bad rap. It's just unfortunately the outer casing of the thing near it has a tendency to wither away.
Yeah. I mean, it was really
Instead
just
of
the
creating.
Apple ones. Like, third party ones were pretty solid most of the time, especially the
Yeah.
nylon ones.
Oh yeah. Just the one in the box wasn't meant to last, I guess.
Yeah. You know, I have a hot take. I
All
have
right.
an unpopular opinion. I believe, for most cases, at least for phone use, Lightning is better than USB C.
Okay. Would you care to elaborate on that for us?
Yes. Okay, first of all, if you come up with a speed argument, USB C is faster than Lightning. No, it's not. First, Lightning has a USB 3.0 version that no one knows about. It's capable of USB 3.0, and it's shown up on like two versions of the iPad before disappearing. No, the
So it
iPhone doesn't
exists.
have it. So is
Yep.
3.0 capable? I'm not saying that they put it inside of the iPhones.
So,
I'm arguing for the port itself, not what they actually use.
all right. So I'm glad we have the disclaimer where we're including full capabilities here. We're not talking about what you're going to find on your 11s or 12s. We're talking about raw potential of Lightning and USB-C.
Yeah. Did you know that though?
That's
Did you know
amazing.
that they're 3.0 capable?
I did not know that. I didn't. I never actually thought about like the data transfer rates of Lightning, but now I know. Now I know there was a 3.0, and apparently I was on a couple of not Androids, iPads.
Yeah, it was before they switched over to USB-C. They were really trying to push the Pro thing, so they bumped
Huh.
the speeds to, increase transfer speeds and stuff like that. Um, Honestly, for the iPad, I do believe the USB-C was a better connector. That
Yeah.
that should have happened a long time ago. Okay,
Yeah.
but let's actually get back to it. Second of all, the fact that you can actually charge at PD speeds. So power delivery does work. USB-C's power delivery does work over Lightning, which is hilarious because of the fact that Samsung uses USB-C, but by default they don't usually use the PD standard. They use their proprietary Samsung adaptive charging standard. It's PD compatible.
But it's theirs.
Yes.
They just
Which
found
is
the need to
funny
just.
because Apple's Lightning connector uses the PD standard. How
Yeah,
wild is that?
I have so many questions.
So that's why if you get like any like run of the mill laptop charger and you plug, one of Apple's USB-C cables to Lightning into your iPhone, it'll charge at the full 18 watts. And well, that actually leads me on to the next point. It can charge at 18 watts. It's not
Yeah.
fast compared to a lot of Android phones, but it's not slow.
Hmm.
That's faster than any sort of non-proprietary wireless standard. Okay, the thing, I hate proprietary wireless standards. Like, why?
uh,
Why do they exist? You know what
they
I'm talking about, right? Like those like 90-watt wireless chargers. I swear, like more than half of it probably gets wasted to heat.
Oh yeah, true, true.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Okay, so I mean the charging speeds are there. Um, let's talk durability. Okay, I don't like USB-C because of the fact that the actual connector is not as can get damaged easier. You've noticed how the fact that the pins are more traditional like USB cables, so they kind of need to go in a perfect way. You know how the
oh yeah,
pin out of these things are, right?
oh
So
yeah.
there's kind of like it's since there's an actual center area like in a regular USB, it just seems like it's a more complex and easier to damage connector.
Oh yeah. I have been made very well aware of the ever familiar feeling of trying to make sure that all the pins actually bother to connect on a device. I've been
So
there.
the way I see it is that there's a better chance that you can get a damaged USB-C cable. You plug it in, and because let's say that there's some weird thing like coming out of that the interior of that USB cable, and then it can bend a pin.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about like theoretical. Like I really doubt this is gonna happen, but it's possible. Like let's say another
Oh,
phone damaged the connector before. You take the cable, put it into your phone, and
No. Congratulations, you have the same problem as the other person's phone. Now you can only use one cable.
unless that cable doesn't even work anyway.
Well, then everyone is screwed.
Lightning's cable, on the other hand, is very simplistic. You will see if there's something wrong with it immediately.
Oh, yeah.
If it's not flat,
That's kind of a problem.
you've done goof. You've done
You done?
very goof.
I didn't know that was even possible.
I think that the simplicity of the cable it should be applauded. Um, there's there's still pins inside of the device, but because they're incredibly simplistic, it's a flat connector, and there's really only two moving parts. You know, the two things that hold it in. I believe that's a significantly more robust connector that can last longer. Although it's very susceptible to pocket lint. So from time to time you need to get a toothpick, thin toothpick, and scrape out the inside of your connector.
I see. The pros and cons.
I really feel like the durability aspect is very important because of the fact that, you know, they're phones. They go on and off the charger all the time. You don't really think about the cable that you're plugging in. And you remember the terribleness of like the 10 different types of USB-C cables that they used to have. Some of them shorting out phones, others.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I doubt that's as big of a problem anymore, but at least with iPhones and Lightning cables, if you see a MFI logo, 100% it will work with your phone.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't have to worry about Nintendo's stupid proprietary USB-ness.
Yeah, that's a thing. We don't talk about that. But
So yeah, what do you think?
I
Sound
think you pose a
arguments,
very
bad
solid
arguments?
argument. The hot take has been taken. The hot take was took, and I think you had a very solid argument.
I think that
I
phones
don't
need
have any
like a
counterpoints.
durability. Yeah, I think that phones need like a durability first approach
I can see that.
because you know you do everything with your phone,
Oh, yeah.
and you probably end up charging it pretty often. I don't use wireless charging. I have a wireless charger, but
Oh, same.
it's I don't know. Something I just don't have the habit of putting it on there.
Yeah. I think I stopped using mine because it was, um, even when it was in its heyday, it kind of stopped charging randomly, which is fine if my phone reaches 100 and wants to catch a break there. But I'm like talking like I go from maybe like 10% to like, I don't know, like 55 or something. And it's like, all right, I need a break. Have fun. And I'm like, oh,
Oh yeah,
I wake up to like a battery of like 30% left. And like, well, what was even the point of putting you on a charge? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I get that. That's happened to me many times. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Oh
will agree though. Lightning does feel a lot more solid. It has a feeling of more solid, I think. Or that I'm
yeah.
using the wrong USB-C cables.
I mean, yeah. Okay. I've also had USB C cables that actually just crunch when you plug it in. Have you ever had that before?
I don't know if I had. I think I did.
Like it has this weird crunching sound, and it hurts me, but I use it anyway because it's my laptop charger.
Oh.
It hurts me, but I need it.
Yeah, I guess it works. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Or
why I
technology.
believe that iPhone's Lightning connectors are actually very, very robust for what they are.
Hmm. That's fair.
So, well, I'm not completely angry at Apple for not deciding to switch over to USB-C. Would it bring like unification? Yes, it would. But at the same time, they're also right about the fact that if we switch now, there's going to be so many people out there that have a ton of USB-C, Lightning devices. I mean, cables. Cables, actual physical like devices that have it integrated into it that
Oh,
aren't going
yeah.
to work anymore.
Hmm. It's almost like a too late to switch back now
Yeah.
kind of thing.
That being said, I don't like MagSafe.
Ah.
I, I don't. I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
Um, if Apple is actually just planning on switching 100% to MagSafe, then I don't support that move because
Yeah.
if they're touting themselves as a very green company, they should know that wireless charging, even though it's much more efficient than most wireless chargers are, it's still not as efficient as a wire. And you
Oh, yeah.
multiply that with every single iPhone, like individually, that's fine. Like
Hmm.
if both of us switch over to it, that's nothing on the environment. If every
Yeah.
single iPhone user in the world switches over to it, that's about 20% more power per iPhone.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
So, yeah, there's that. I mean, honestly, that's the biggest reason why I don't particularly like MagSafe because of its inefficiencies.
Hmm.
Um, I think that Apple should have done a much simpler approach using real. So on the iPad, they have three contacts on the bottom, like physical contacts. Well, not on
Oh,
the new
yeah.
ones, but the older ones.
Oh, yeah.
Called the smart connector that you literally, put it on top of. I think that MagSafe should have had at least some sort of physical connector on it. Like if the actual MagSafe puck had, let's say, a ring of copper around it that
Hmm.
connected to some pins. I wouldn't say pins, but you know what I mean by pins.
Oh, yeah.
On the back of the iPhone, that would be a physical, solid connector that, yes, it can get disconnected significantly easier than a regular, lightning cable would. But at the very least, that would cut down on the inefficiencies.
No, yeah. I can see that.
So I'm just thinking of efficiencies here because that's a lot of power wasted.
Hmm. Yeah, so hopefully we can find a more efficient way to run like a MagSafe 2.0 or a 3.0 in the future.
Yeah. And let's be honest here, Jared. You can't fight physics. Air will always insulate.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a tiny amount of air will always insulate it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, excuse me. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Can't argue with that.
That's my thoughts on that. So, yeah, I mean, this was a weird episode. Long
This
episode.
was. we have gone on for quite some time. We have come through technical difficulties here and there. Apologies on that one. Um, before we head on out, did you wanna give a brief? You have any like brief thoughts on our other
All
headlined
right.
topic?
So our good friends Tim Apple, not, Nutella,
Satya,
uh,
Nutella, yeah.
Microsoft, and Andy Amazon. Real names are Tim Cook, Satya Nutella, and
Andy Jassy.
Andy Jassy. That's a name. That is a name, and I really like it.
Which one, Andy Jassy or Andy Amazon?
Andy Jassy. Come on.
I know, right?
That
It's a very
that's a
bright
name.
name. It's very
So
cheery and has gives me like jazz hands vibes. Sorry.
so Biden has called all these people together in hopes to discuss cybersecurity. So other people have been invited, like what's it called again? Alphabet CEO. If you don't know what Alphabet is, they're the parent company of Google.
Yes, I do have a parent.
International Business Machines Corp. I'll be honest, I have never. I never knew that was our actual name. Did you?
I've never actually seen it spelled out before. Like they haven't dubbed it out or anything. They didn't give you like a parentheses being like a reminder, like, oh, this is this company, this is this acronym. It's like, oh, but yeah, International Business Machines Corps.
So,
Wild.
yeah, it's a tiny little company. Don't worry about it. It's only IBM.
Yeah. Who's even hurt now?
Who's
I don't
IBM
know. You think
anyway?
there's
Who's
you think
Google?
there's youngins you think there's youngins who who don't know what IBM was? What IBM is? I don't know.
IBM used to rule the computer space.
Yeah.
Period. Okay, IBM is still in the computer business. I mean, they they have gone past consumer grade
Yeah.
and
They
have
have
been
gone
working more on
beyond.
server. They're mostly a server thing. They do a lot of AI, a lot of supercomputers.
Yeah, I think they ran commercials about Watson. It was Watson,
Yep,
yeah.
yep, and cloud computing.
Yeah. So they're not a
So
main
yeah,
face, but you'll still run into them very presently if you're in the right markets.
yeah. J.P. Morgan, Chase and Co.
Yeah.
I kind of want to know what company this is, but slightly. I'm scared that it's actually just Chase Bank, but I don't know.
Uh, the link doesn't help me. I need to actually search this up. It sends me to more Bloomberg stuff.
It's a banking organization.
There it is.
I'm
That's under
assuming that this is
30 million.
Chase Bank.
I can see that, yeah.
I mean, it's
There,
it's
there. Oh, I pressed home on the JP Morgan thing, and guess what? It sends me to Chase Bank.
Okay. So,
Not even
and
joking.
Southern Core Company,
And Southern Core.
which is a energy company, which I don't know. I I don't know that one.
Yeah. Apparently, their CEO Tom Fanning plans to attend,
So
so you can add Tom
okay,
Southern to the to the list.
so this talk is really all about like cybersecurity because of the recent uptake in like ransomware attacks. It's been getting kind of ridiculous
Yeah.
with so many things becoming like hit with ransomware, places getting shut down because of ransomware. And then there's things like solar. Remember the SolarWinds thing like a while back? And like they were able, these hackers were able to get access to a whole ton of stuff running inside of Microsoft
Oh yeah.
because of a remote management software.
No, yeah. They found an entrance through SolarWinds, and they got pretty high up the chain, if I recall correctly.
Things like that. So now there's not much information about what they're specifically they're going to talk about, so we can only really speculate. But yeah, there's cybersecurity is becoming a bigger thing than ever, and I don't know where this is going to go. There's been a lot of companies being hit by ransomware, and some have been bigger than others. Honestly,
No, yeah.
it just kind of shows like no one is safe, and
No, yeah.
that's kind of scary.
No, yeah.
I
Was
mean,
it
people
you're
could look
only?
at. Oh,
Oh, I'm
go on.
sorry. Oh no,
I
I'm
mean,
just going off on
oh,
like a random one line saying like, was it you're only as strong as your weakest link? So your main stuff can be as secure as ever, but if you happen to have like connected to a third party that's connected to a third party that happens to be really garbage at cybersecurity, they'll
I
find a
mean,
way up. I'm assuming.
there's also the aspect of you don't know a flaw until someone exploits it.
That's true.
There's also that aspect. I
No,
mean,
yeah,
what happened to Microsoft? People could look at Microsoft like, oh, Microsoft's always been bad at security. They can't even secure Windows 10. Microsoft stuff is one of the most secure has one of the most secure platforms. Period.
mm,
I'm just saying that. I'm just throwing that out there. They have
no,
one of the
yeah,
best security out there. Microsoft does not skimp.
no, yeah.
They cross their eyes. They cross their eyes. They cross their
They
T's.
cross
They
their
dot their I's.
eyes.
They dot their I's, and they
That's how hard they go on their security. They cross their eyes.
and they and they're very upfront about any sort of flaw that they find inside of their systems. Well, at least to their paying business customers.
No, yeah,
So Microsoft is an incredibly trustworthy company. And it's one of those things that like if it happened to Microsoft, it could happen to anyone.
that's true.
I I don't see this as a failure on like Microsoft's part because when you manage that many servers, you need some sort of management software. It's not it's not an if, it's a you need. You
No, yeah,
definitely need.
no, yeah,
You need to know when something goes down. You need to know what goes down. You need to know what's wrong with it. And software like that really helps in that.
no, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, and I feel like that's one of those things that like I don't particularly blame Microsoft for that one. Honestly, even SolarWinds, I don't completely blame it. It happens. Cyber
Right.
attacks happen. Like, no matter how big you, actually, the bigger you are, the more likely you're going to get hit.
Mm.
And I feel like Microsoft just had the most amount of information that was worth stealing.
Yeah.
Because
It's
if
almost like
you go
yeah.
on.
I don't know. It really is just like an inevitability. It's just how long can you go before this inevitability just hits?
Yeah. Because if you really think about it, Apple, if you attack them, then sure, you might be able to find like unreleased Apple products, you might be able to find stuff like that. But at the end of the day, are you actually going to find anything important?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying about that.
Oh, yeah.
Amazon, you're getting closer. You have AWS. That's a huge target. But
Oh, yeah.
because they have AWS, my assumption is that at the very least, Amazon has that part of their system incredibly protected.
Mm.
You know what I mean when I say that.
Oh, yeah. Let it live on its own little secure island. Just keep that thing as locked down as you possibly can.
Yeah, and
That's
at
where
the
all
same
the
time, something tells me that they keep a lot of their stuff containerized, and Amazon probably doesn't necessarily have access to their clients' data.
mm.
That's how I would assume it would work.
Oh, yeah.
So each of their customers are they actually they're what's that word, liable for their own security.
Oh,
That's what
yeah.
I'm trying to find. And then you have Microsoft. I feel like they got hit just because of their wide reach inside the business world. I think that these people believed if we attack Microsoft, we can hit almost everyone at once.
Mm.
And they're not necessarily wrong.
Oh, yeah. Microsoft's a very valuable target.
So, yeah, I just feel like it was one of those calculated things of like, you know what? We want we want one attack. And we want to hit as hard as we can.
Mm.
I feel like just Microsoft was the obvious target for that one.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, these attacks are inevitable, and I think that being able to figure out ways to secure people, to secure these companies, individual people, and companies,
Mm.
I think that's important
Oh, yeah.
because these ransomware attacks are getting pretty ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. It's about time we all came together, find out how we can make this more preventable, and even if they do hit, how do we make sure they don't come out with anything substantial?
Yeah, I mean, even T-Mobile got hit lately. Oh, I
Yeah.
remember. I got a message from T-Mobile about this. What did they say? It was a
Oh
beautiful
shoot,
response.
you still have your SSA.
Huh? Where are you? Man, when did we talk about it? This was like last week, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I think we. I don't know if we talked about on stream. I know we were thinking about talking about it for like a brief moment, and
Pretty
then
sure we talked
we
about it
thought
on
about making it
stream.
the clickbait title of this week's if it was the big the big news.
Yeah, let me just check the dates. So it would have been probably last week around the 16th. So it's You were then added my messages. There you are. T-Mobile has determined that unauthorized access to some of your personal data has occurred. We have no evidence that your debit/credit card information was compromised. We are taking protection of our customers seriously. We are taking actions to protect your T-Mobile account, and we recommend that you take action to protect your credit. And then they made more information available in the next message.
I see.
So, I mean,
Yeah. At least your credit and debit card info isn't in jeopardy. I
yeah.
if I heard that correctly.
Funny thing is that we determine the type of impacted information. Okay, so this is what's on their website, not in the text. We have determined that types of impacted information include names, driver's licenses, government identification numbers, social security numbers, dates of birth, T-Mobile prepaid pins, addresses, and phone numbers. However, there is no indication that personal financial or payment information, credit or debit card information, account numbers, or account passwords were accessed. So what I'm hearing here is that T-Mobile decided to only include the information, the non-important information inside of the text message. And they technically told you about the potential issues because they tell you to go to a website on T-Mobile.
Oh wow.
I mean, if you didn't go to the website, we told you to, right? You should have done it.
Wow. Just straight up, just like, oh, some of your data might have been taken, but don't worry, your credit and debit card info hasn't been. But you might have lost your pins, date of birth, social security number,
Driver's licenses
the
numbers.
non-important stuff. License numbers, the non-important stuff. Don't worry about it. No, man.
Yeah. I don't like it when companies do that. I mean, it's one of those things that like, why aren't you more upfront about it? If it's an issue that big, say that it's an issue that big. Oh, and he's gone. And he's still gone. Come on. Come on. Uh-oh. You're back. Hello, friend. You're back.
You're just about to go on your rant, and then you froze for a second. It's like, oh no, I know how this ends. I know how this ends.
I don't have a rat left in me anymore.
It's fine.
I heard the noise. I'm like, oh, and he's gone.
You got it all out of your system, but I wasn't here to witness it.
No, you leaving prevented me from saying everything. I was gonna wait. I was waiting, and then I simmered.
Like, okay. The emotion is gone. It just wouldn't have the same impact.
The emotion is gone.
But yeah. Did you want any like final thoughts on that one before we?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just frustrated with this one because of the fact they just omitted the important stuff.
Yeah, I took out all the important bits and just like, yeah, just told you, oh, don't worry, your debit and credit card information is safe. It's fine.
I mean, theoretically, that's the most immediate, issue because
That's
I'm sure that it takes a bit longer to use things like social security numbers in nefarious ways.
yeah, I can see that.
But credit card information can be used instantly and would be
Yeah,
more likely to be used instantly before, people can learn about this.
yeah. You'll most likely see all the withdrawals or the spending before you actually see was it a notification like oh shoot, your account's been hacked.
Yeah. Anyway, that's how I feel about it. Oh, but they offer McAfee ID theft protection service for free for 2 years.
Oh wow.
Hmm. I don't know what that is. Oh, apparently it has credit
That's
monitoring, full service ID resolution, $1 million identity insurance. Oh my gosh. You know what? The insurance is there, but man, that's still gonna be painful. Policy with
uh,
zero deductible costs associated with identity restoration, such as fraudulent withdrawals, illegal electronic fund transfers, lost wages, legal defense fees, and replacing documents.
oh
Okay.
huh.
Dark web
That's
monitoring is
why.
another feature,
Yeah.
and lost wallet recovery,
Oh,
meaning that
that's
things
kind of
like identifying and canceling lost documents, support with forms for reissuing documents, initiating police reports for loss and theft, stuff like
oh
that.
wow. It does all the searching for
Okay,
you. That's kind
I'll admit it. For once, I think that McAfee's service might not be bad. I have jumped the gun, and I apologize for that.
of. It actually sounds like a very promising zero.
As long as it doesn't force me to download the security app.
Oh, you know it will. No. But hey, that's solid, I guess. You get 2 years of that for free.
Apparently. Yeah, interesting. That was not necessarily what I was expecting.
A solid offering of McAfee security. Who knew?
There's something good that comes out of it, apparently.
Yeah.
I've learned something today.
Yeah. All that anger has definitely simmered. It's gone now. It has transferred into a free 2 years subscription to McAfee identity protection.
You know what? I've come to the conclusion that's gonna suck if it happens. But it seems like this is an actual helpful service if it happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it does sound like they're able to help recover, they're able to help recover as best as possible.
And supposedly their customer service is supposed to help to navigate through everything. So that in and of itself is actually a pretty good service.
Yeah. And good customer service is a hard thing to come by.
See if their customer service. I hope I don't need to figure out if their customer service is good. Let's just throw that out there. I hope I don't need to figure out if their customers. This is one of those things I hope that I'll never need to talk to their customer service.
I really hope it never boils down to that.
So, yeah, I know that I probably said this before. I'm probably never gonna buy a Samsung phone again. I'm not saying I'm leaving Android. I'm saying I'm leaving Samsung.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I
Because
Samsung's. If any of you have needed to talk to a Samsung rep in the past for customer service, you will understand why I am leaving Samsung.
yeah.
Not fun.
Yeah. From what I hear, it's very not a pleasant experience. And I do not blame you for leaving because of it.
No. I mean, okay, I expect bad. I don't expect this kind of bad.
Yeah. This is another level.
I expected okay, well, this is an Apple type of thing. Yeah, no. It
Yeah.
really was an Apple.
Yeah.
It. I don't need Apple level of service. I just need to eventually get it done.
Yeah. I
They
need
kinda
some
got it done.
decent.
I won't even say that
Yeah.
they fully got it done because they didn't actually send me a replacement.
Oh. What exactly did they do to resolve it again?
They refunded me.
Oh, they gave you credit for a new one. I see.
Yeah.
Uh,
Of course, that took about a month to come in, but
you got the money back, I guess.
and you know the funny thing was I was so close to buying another phone, and then Prime Day came along. It was by far the cheapest phone I could buy
Yeah.
by a few $100s.
Uh, that's the power of Prime Day. It makes
So
you
the
forget
money
all your
spoke to
struggles.
me and has won.
Yeah. No one can escape the power of saving.
Should I have bought myself a OnePlus 9? Maybe. But the
but
money.
but the money. But the
Yeah.
money.
That was that was just so hard to pass up. I was like, technically the S21 is the better phone, despite their service sucking. It's a
Yeah.
better phone, and it's cheaper. Oh, it was a
How
hard
can how
deal to pass.
I wouldn't have been able to either. How can you argue against better for cheaper?
It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
But, it's pretty much what happened.
Yeah. So I guess that's the lesson to businesses out there. The customer service side it's a very important place to focus on as well.
But even if you have great customer service, I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, money talks.
Also true.
It talks very loudly.
I still have
Yeah.
great customer service, but also
Oh
have
yeah,
great
most
deals on
definitely.
Prime Day.
That
If
was
you have
literally the
both
perfect
great deals,
storm.
I mean,
You golden.
yeah. Set for life, friend.
Oh, and you also need to make a reliable product, please. If I don't need to go to
Oh, yeah.
customer service to begin with, that will make me the happiest.
Yeah. I appreciate good customer service. I don't appreciate having to go to you often. So please.
You know, the funny thing is that whenever I say I'm never coming back to a company, I somehow come crawling back to them because of the price.
Money talks. Like you said.
Remember way back when I said that I don't like Razer because I did. Okay, the RMA process was nowhere as painful as Samsung's.
Oh, yeah. But there's only one of them.
And yet, I'm still using a whole ton of Razer products.
Yeah.
Why? Because I got them at very good prices. I got my mouse for $20. I got my
Yeah.
keyboard for $80.
Are these Amazon deals too?
Oh no, the mouse was literally just a random Best Buy deal that I found.
Oh,
It was an impulse buy.
yeah. I thought the same when my Logitech mouse went on clearance.
Oh, I see that we have slightly similar designs here.
Yeah. The only difference is mine's like a broken up G.
Yeah, I have a Death Adder.
Yeah.
Yours is technically
Yeah.
the better mouse.
But yeah. Deals, man.
They
Hard to beat.
matter.
Yeah.
They're very hard to beat. It, if you price it cheap enough, you get to the point where it's like, even if this breaks, I only lost $20. So what's the worst that can happen?
Even if, yeah. At that point, it's just like, at that point, I don't even need to go through customer service because I'm probably just going to want to replace it anyway. Just
Yeah,
get a new one.
pretty
Save the
much.
hassle.
No? Anyway. Oh man, this has been a long stream. I think that we
Yeah.
should call it. It's been 2 hours. Dear Jesus.
Oh yeah. What are you talking about? Mine's a 14-minute stream.
Remember when we always
Yeah.
used to say this was supposed to be a very short stream?
No, yeah. I see we found a way to extend our TechNet streams.
Remember when we actually used to be able to do 2 streams in one day? Remember
I
those days,
remember
Jared?
that. We still plan for that. It's okay. Who knows? Maybe next time we'll do a double feature. Or maybe we'll find a way to go through like or maybe TechNet will become a full-fledged couple hour long stream.
Yeah.
Who knows? At the very least, we'll have plenty of content to chuck up onto both Twitch and YouTube. So I mean,
Yeah. Well, let's call it. Thanks, guys, for watching, and don't forget to follow us, like, subscribe if you're on YouTube, and thanks for watching. Bye for now.
see you.